Imagine a world where the power of words can shape entire systems of belief, where the choice of a single term can ignite a religious revolution. This is the world of biblical translation, a realm where the stakes are as high as the divine itself. For centuries, translators have grappled with the monumental task of rendering ancient texts into languages that not only make sense to modern readers, but also preserve the original meaning and spirit of the sacred words. The Bible, in particular, has been a battlefield of ideas, a canvas for theological and cultural wars. From the earliest Reformation versions to the numerous modern translations, the journey of the Bible in English is a story of struggle, innovation, and transformation. In the early 16th century, the Bible was not a book that everyone could read. It was a sacred text, locked away in Latin, accessible only to the learned clergy. This exclusivity was a source of power for the Church, but it also meant that the average person had no direct access to the words of God. Enter William Tyndale, a scholar and reformer who dared to translate the Bible into English. Tyndale's work was not just a linguistic endeavor. It was a revolutionary act. He believed that every person should have the right to read the Bible in their own language, a belief that cost him his life. Tyndale was burned at the stake for his heresy, but his legacy lived on. His translation, with its bold and sometimes controversial choices, laid the foundation for the King James Version, KJV, which would become the most influential English Bible in history. The KJV, completed in 1611, was a masterpiece of both language and theology. It aimed to be a unifying text, one that could bridge the divide between the various Christian denominations of the time. The KJV, elegant and flowing language, heavily influenced by the works of Tyndale, set a new standard for biblical translation. It was a text that not only conveyed the meaning of the original Hebrew and Greek, but also captured the poetic and spiritual essence of the Bible. However, the KJV was not without its critics. Some argued that it was too archaic and difficult for the average person to understand. Others pointed out that it contained theological biases, particularly in its choice of certain terms. The 20th century saw a surge in the number of English translations of the Bible, each vying to address the limitations of the KJV and other earlier versions. These modern translations faced a unique set of challenges. On one hand, they needed to be accessible to a contemporary audience, using language that was clear and relevant. On the other hand, they had to maintain the integrity of the original texts, preserving the historical and cultural context in which they were written. This balancing act was no easy feat. One of the most significant issues in modern translation is the interpretation of key terms. Words like church, ecclesia, priest, presbyteros, and baptism, baptisma, carry deep theological implications. For example, Tyndale's choice to translate ecclesia as congregation rather than church was a direct challenge to the hierarchical structure of the Catholic Church. Modern translators must navigate these theological landmines, often making choices that can have far-reaching consequences. The New International Version (NIV), for example, has been praised for its clarity and readability, but criticized by some for what they perceive as a liberal bias. The New Revised Standard Version, NRSV, and the New Jerusalem Bible, NJB, have also faced similar scrutiny. Another challenge is the issue of inclusive language. In many ancient texts, terms like men, brothers, and he were used generically to include both men and women. However, in the modern world, such language can feel exclusionary and outdated. Translators have responded by using terms like people, brothers and sisters, and they to make the text more inclusive. While this approach has been widely accepted, it has also raised questions about the extent to which translators should modify the text to fit modern sensibilities. Some argue that this can lead to a loss of historical accuracy and the original intent of the authors. Among the modern translators, Robert Alter stands out for his unique approach. Alter's translations of the Hebrew Bible aim to capture not just the meaning of the text, but also its style and flavor. He does this by carefully imitating the Hebrew language, preserving elements like the repeated use of and at the beginning of sentences and the rhythmic cadence of the original. Alter's work is a testament to the idea that translation is not just about words, but about the entire literary and cultural context in which they exist. However, even Alter's approach has its critics. Some argue that his translations can feel too archaic and distant, making it difficult for modern readers to connect with the text. Others praise his work for its fidelity to the original, seeing it as a valuable resource for scholars and serious readers. The debate over the best approach to biblical translation continues, with no clear consensus in sight. From the earliest translations, notes and annotations have played a crucial role in explaining the text and guiding readers. Jerome's Latin Vulgate, completed in the 4th century, included extensive introductions to each book. In the Middle Ages, the gloss, a collection of marginal notes and commentaries, became the primary way that most people encountered the Bible. Tyndale's translations were accompanied by notes that often reflected his Protestant theology, leading to his condemnation as a heretic. Luther's translations also included extensive notes and illustrations, further emphasizing the importance of interpretation in the translation process. Even today, most modern translations come with notes and annotations. These can provide valuable context, explain difficult passages, and offer different interpretations of the text. However, they can also be a source of controversy. Catholic translations, for example, often include notes that promote specific doctrines, such as the perpetual virginity of Mary. Protestant translations, on the other hand, might emphasize the concept of justification by faith alone. The presence of these notes highlights the ongoing tension between the desire to provide a clear and accessible text and the need to preserve the theological and cultural context of the original. The way the Bible is translated can have a profound impact on how it is understood and interpreted. For many, the Bible is more than just a historical document. It is a living text that shapes their faith and daily life. A translation that emphasizes certain theological themes can reinforce or challenge existing beliefs. For example, A translation that portrays the Church as a hierarchical institution might resonate with Catholics, while one that emphasizes the concept of a congregation might appeal more to Protestants. The Bible's influence extends beyond individual beliefs and into the broader cultural and social fabric. In many countries, the Bible has played a central role in the development of national identity and language. In Wales, for example, the translation of the Bible into Welsh in the 16th century was a crucial step in the preservation of the Welsh language and culture. Similarly, the translation of the Bible into minority languages has often been a powerful tool for cultural and political resistance. The journey of the Bible through the ages is a testament to the enduring power of words. From the bold translations of Tyndale to the meticulous work of modern scholars, each version of the Bible reflects the cultural, theological, and linguistic context of its time. The challenges of translation, balancing historical accuracy with modern relevance, preserving the original spirit while making the text accessible, continue to shape the way we understand and engage with this ancient text. As we navigate the complexities of biblical translation, we are reminded that the words we choose matter, and that the Bible, in all its forms, remains a dynamic and living document, capable of speaking to the hearts and minds of people across the ages.